lot of our customers have been asking about how do they actually secure their APIs, and I always like to introduce to them the continuous API security lifecycle as an approach for them to look into how they can secure their APIs. There are key 6 stages of securing API in the API security lifecycle, and this is where I like to introduce to them on that portion. So first, you will look into the API development. This is the first stage of that, and then we will look into the API testing. Now, these 2 stages is where the developers will focus on developing their APIs and test their APIs and ensuring their APIs are being secure through the development stage. And the next portion is where how we actually put the API into production and to ensure that it can be consumed safely. With that, we look into API discovery, the 3rd stage, and API inventory, API governance, and API protection. Now, each of these stages have key functionalities that we need to actually look into and processes that we have to be in place. So for example, the API development, developers are looking to secure SDLC to ensure that the codings are being properly vetted through, and they have to look into the API risk threat and risk management. For API testing, they can actually leverage on the automated testing tools to actually ensure that the APIs are being secure before putting APIs into production stage. The next key thing which we always emphasize to our customer is to identify publicly exposed APIs through API discovery. And with that, the customers will be able to leverage on the discovered API to build an inventory and understand what are their APIs that are allowed to be consumed within their environment. By having a continuous monitoring and governance, they will be able to have this process of making sure that their APIs are safe and identifying shadows API. This is where the other stage, API governance, must be in place. And finally, with that, we will actually look into real-time active monitoring of the APIs and proactive blocking whenever there's an illegal use of the API. With that, our customers will be able to understand the key stage that are required for them to have a continuous API security lifecycle. With F5 Distributed Cloud, we cover API discovery, inventory, governance, and protection for our customer.